The world has a cruel way of humbling you when you least expect it. I wasn't looking for trouble that afternoon, I was only looking for soup. It was a quiet Tuesday, the kind of gray, unremarkable day where time moves lazily. I'd spent the morning cleaning the attic, sorting through old photographs and letters from when my daughter, Emily, was still little when she'd run through the yard barefoot, laughing, calling me her best friend. Those memories always warmed me, but lately they stung too. Emily had changed after she married Jack. He was charming, handsome, smooth-talking, the kind of man who always seemed to have something just out of reach. When they first started dating, he treated her like she hung the moon. But after the wedding, the charm faded, replaced by something else, entitlement. Still, I loved my daughter and by extension tolerated him. I helped them whenever I could, loaned them money when Jack lost his job, paid for their car repairs, even helped with the down payment for their apartment. It wasn't easy. My husband passed away 5 years ago, leaving me with our modest savings and a quiet little house. But for Emily, I would give anything. At least I thought I would. The discovery. That afternoon, I went into town to pick up groceries. My stomach growled as I passed the new Italian restaurant on the corner, La Bellissima. I'd read about it online, all glowing reviews and expensive dishes. Normally, I couldn't justify the cost, but I told myself, why not? Just soup and coffee. The hostess smiled warmly and led me to a small table near the window. The restaurant smelled of basil and garlic, the sound of soft jazz filling the air. It felt peaceful. But as I opened the menu, a familiar laugh drifted across the room. I froze. 2 tables away in a cozy booth sat Emily and Jack. For a moment, I was happy, surprised even. Maybe they were treating themselves. Maybe things were finally going well for them. I was about to call out wave when I noticed something that made my stomach tighten. Emily leaned forward, smiling, her hand brushing Jack's. Between them lay a table crowded with plates, lobster, wine, tiramisu, the works. Expensive, extravagant, the kind of meal that cost more than my entire grocery bill for the week. Jack was laughing, talking loudly. "We deserve this, babe," he said, raising his glass, "after the month we've had." Emily nodded, her face glowing. "I still can't believe your plan worked. I didn't think Mom would notice." My heart stopped. I froze, straining to hear as they continued talking. "She doesn't even check her statements," Jack said with a grin. "She uses that same credit card for everything, utilities, groceries. It's the perfect cover. I just had to remember the expiration date and the code." Emily laughed softly. "You're terrible." He leaned in, lowering his voice. "You didn't stop me." She giggled, clinking her glass against his. "Well, it's not like she'll miss a few $100s." My blood ran cold. I sat there, gripping the edge of my chair. My daughter, my only child, was sitting 2 tables away, eating lobster and drinking wine on my credit card, not because she needed to, but because she thought I wouldn't notice. The waitress approached me, smiling. "Are you ready to order?" I swallowed hard. "Actually, I'll just take the check. I need to go." The confrontation. I drove home in silence. My hands trembled on the steering wheel. I wasn't angry, not at first, just hollow. Betrayal is strange like that. It doesn't always come as fire. Sometimes it's just a quiet ache that spreads slowly, seeping into every corner of your chest. That evening, I went through my bank statements, scrolling through the transactions. There it was, La Bellissima restaurant, $284.60, dated that same afternoon. And that wasn't the only one. I found charges from boutiques I'd never visited, online stores I didn't recognize, hundreds of dollars gone. By the time Emily called that night, my hands were shaking with fury. "Hey, Mom," she said cheerfully, "how's your day?" "Interesting," I said flatly. "Tell me, how was lunch?" There was a pause. "Lunch? At La Bellissima?" The silence stretched so long I could hear her breathing quicken. "Oh, what do you mean?" I took a deep breath. "Emily, don't insult me. I saw you and Jack eating lunch on my card." She said nothing. Finally, she whispered, "Mom, please don't be mad. It was just." "Just what?" I snapped. "Just stealing." Her voice broke. We were going through a rough patch and Jack been stressed. "Don't," I said sharply. "Don't you dare blame him for this. You made a choice, Emily." She sniffled. "It's not like you're struggling. You have Dad's pension, the house." "Do you hear yourself?" I asked, stunned. "You're justifying stealing from your mother." Her tone hardened suddenly. You wouldn't understand, Mom. Everything's expensive. We're just trying to get by. You're not trying, I said, you're taking. There was another pause, then she hung up, just like that. The aftermath. For weeks, I heard nothing from her. The silence was heavy. Every day, I'd look at my phone, hoping she'd call, hoping she'd apologize, but she didn't. Then one Sunday morning, Jack showed up at my door. He looked sheepish, holding a bouquet of cheap flowers. "Mrs. Hart," he began, "I just wanted to clear the air." I crossed my arms. "You mean you want to talk your way out of this?" He chuckled nervously. "Look, I admit we messed up. It was stupid. I thought I'd pay it back when my next check came in." "You thought wrong," I said coldly. He sighed. "Emily been upset. She says you won't talk to her. Maybe because she stole from me." He frowned. "You make it sound worse than it was." "It is worse," I said, my voice rising. "You took advantage of my trust. You both did." He shifted uncomfortably. "Fine, I'm sorry, okay? Can we just move past this?" I looked at him, really looked at him, the slick smile, the restless hands, the way he avoided eye contact. Suddenly, I saw the truth. He didn't care, neither of them did, not about the money, not about the betrayal, just about losing access to my help. "No," I said quietly, "we can't." I closed the door. The letter. Months passed, the pain dulled, but it didn't fade. I stopped hearing from Emily entirely. No calls, no visits. Christmas came and went with only silence. Then, one cold February morning, I found a letter in the mail. It was from Emily. "Mom, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I want to explain. Jack and I split up. He left after I found out he was seeing someone else. He took everything, the car, the savings, even the furniture. I'm in a small apartment now, working at a bookstore. I was wrong, Mom, I know that. What we did was unforgivable, and I understand if you never want to see me again. But I miss you, I miss home, I miss being your daughter. Love, Emily." I read the letter twice, tears blurring the words. She sounded broken, lost, like the little girl she used to be. That evening I called her. She answered on the first ring. "Mom," she said softly. "Emily," I whispered, "come home." The visit. When she arrived 2 days later, I barely recognized her. Her hair was dull, her eyes red from crying. She hugged me tightly, trembling. "I'm so sorry," she said over and over. "I was stupid. I thought Jack loved me. I thought we were doing what we had to." I held her close, feeling her shoulders shake. "You don't need to explain," I said. "You just need to do better." She nodded, pulling away to wipe her eyes. "I will, I promise." We spent the evening talking, really talking for the first time in years. She told me about Jack's lies, his debts, the way he'd pushed her into taking money from me. She admitted she'd gone along with it because she didn't want to lose him. "He made me believe we were a team," she said bitterly, "but I was just a convenience." "You were his safety net," I said softly, "and when it broke, he moved on." She looked down. "I don't know how to fix what I've done, Mom. Start by being honest with yourself, with me, and stop making excuses for other people's wrongs." She nodded, tears spilling again. "I will." Healing. It took time. Trust, once shattered, doesn't mend overnight. Emily began visiting every weekend, helping around the house, cooking dinner. She paid me back slowly, bit by bit, not because I demanded it, but because she wanted to. One evening, as we ate together, she looked up and said, "You know what hurts the most?" "What?" "I thought I'd outgrown needing you, but when everything fell apart, you were the only one who still cared." I smiled sadly. "That's what mothers do, we care even when it hurts." She reached across the table, squeezing my hand. "Thank you for not giving up on me." "I almost did," I admitted. "But I realized something. You didn't need punishment. You needed a lesson life was already teaching you." She laughed softly, "And it was a hard one." "Yes," I said, "but maybe it was worth it." A year later. It's been over a year since that day at La Bellissima. Emily is thriving now. She has a new job, a new apartment, and most importantly, a new sense of self-respect. We talk almost every day. Sometimes she brings up that afternoon, her cheeks flushing with shame. "I still can't believe you saw us," she says. "I was meant to," I reply. "Otherwise, you might still be pretending everything was fine." She smiles faintly. "You always were meant to see through me." "I'm your mother," I tell her. "That's my job." And sometimes, late at night, I think about that moment in the restaurant, the laughter, the betrayal, the heartbreak, and I realize something beautiful. That day didn't destroy us, it rebuilt us. Epilogue. A few weeks ago, Emily invited me out for lunch. To my surprise, she chose La Bellissima. When I walked in, she was already seated, a gentle smile on her face. I wanted to come full circle, she said, my treat. The meal was simple soup, salad, and coffee. No wine, no extravagance, just quiet conversation and laughter. When the check came, Emily reached for it without hesitation. "This one's on me, Mom," she said firmly. As I watched her hand the waiter her own card, something warm filled my chest. She learned she'd grown, and I couldn't have been prouder.